Hey guys, this is going to be balcony garden update number 1 here. I'm going to be giving you a general overview of what I've got outside and what I'm going to be doing today, which is quite a bit, so I thought I would bring you along with me. So, what I'm sitting in front of right now is a whole mess of little plastic containers. It's because I've got all of my little mini greenhouse, peat pod, seed grown plants outside that I think are pretty much ready to go. They don't seem to be getting any bigger in their little pods, and they need to go into their own homes now and start becoming actual plants. And then what I've got right here, which is why I'm doing this, is my Carolina Reaper seeds, which I have soaked overnight in lukewarm water as per the instructions they came with. There's 10 of those. Those are going to be going into these little black containers on the right there. These guys, they're a few inches deep, a couple inches wide. That's going to be more than enough for seeds. They've got good drainage. I've got some tomatoes and peppers outside in the peat pods. They're going to be going into these green ones in the center here. About the same. It's going to be more than enough for what I need. And there's also some miscellaneous plants I've got out there that are going to be going into these small round ones here. For the Reapers, they're going to be going in there. I've never tried to grow them, and I know they're relatively hard to germinate, although it's getting pretty warm in Michigan here now. So I'm going to be using several different techniques to try to get them to pop up. What I've done in the past is I've taken all my plants, usually in one large bed, wrap the top with saran wrap and set it in a warm, dark area. This creates a little mini greenhouse, and it gets the seeds to pop up. So I figured I'm going to do that with a couple of them. A couple of them are going to go directly outside on the balcony here with no plastic wrap on them. They're just going to be left to the elements, see if they'll do it in the hot weather now. A couple of them I might stick outside with the saran wrap on. A couple of them I might put up on top of the refrigerator in here in the dark since it's nice and warm over there. And then a couple of them we will be setting underneath this bad boy. This is just a normal plant grow light that you can get off of line. It worked pretty good for a couple of my other plants, so I figured I would try that. I don't expect even half of these to actually grow into plants. If they do, I'll be surprised, because I don't know what I'm going to do if they all turn into plants. These are outrageously hot peppers. I don't know what the hell I'm going to do with them if they actually do germinate. I just thought it would be fun. So let's take you guys out on the actual balcony and we'll show you what we've got going on out there. Alright guys, here we are out on the balcony. These few plants that you can see here are the ones I bought from the local home improvement center when I bought my soil and the rest of my seeds. These are not ones that I grew myself. I simply bought these as a fallback in case I couldn't get anything to germinate at all. This tomato, when I first bought it, was probably, I don't know, maybe 4 inches tall. That was on May 3rd. This is the 30th today, so 30th or 29th, I don't know. This is about 4 weeks of growth here. It's getting there. This little guy here is the bell pepper. He's taking off like crazy. There are some little dingers growing up in there. I've got 2 jalapenos growing down here. 1 habanero over there in the corner. And a cherry tomato here who has some nice looking little flowers growing on it. These guys do get more light than this. I set them kind of over in here so that I could get a better view of the camera without it getting glared out by the sun. It's also quite windy. Down here, these are my mustard sprouts. I don't know how well they're going to show up. They're going to be delicious pretty soon. And these are what's going to be transplanted here. They're all kind of jumbling together into a freaking jungle right now. But there is jalapenos, tomatoes, cherry tomatoes, there's some cauliflower, there's some habaneros. They're all way too big for these pots now and they need to go. And then up here we have my little herb pods. I just stuck these out here yesterday. This one is basil, oregano, and parsley. And this guy over here is thyme, chives, and cilantro. Actually, none of the cilantro was up 2 days ago. These things have gone insane since they've been outside in the actual sunlight here. So that's all we've got on the balcony right now. It's all turning out pretty good. It's growing a lot better than I expected. Also, it's hella windy today. So we're going to take you guys inside and go through some of the potting of some of these other little guys. Alright, let's get putting the reapers where they need to get put. I've emptied all the water out here. You can see them all on the bottom there. Dangerous little things. So, I'm going to take one little pot here. I'm going to mess with trying to fill it up by hand. Just want to fill it up a little bit. Tamp it down just a touch. Boom. Got a high-tech watering device here that doesn't have any water in it. Yeah, there's a little bit. Here, I made a little ghetto watering can here. I just took a pin, jammed a bunch of holes in the top of it, put it upside down and squeeze it. It works just fine. Just so that all my roommates know that this isn't some kind of crazy clear milk that's been sitting out. Hold on, let me go fill this with frickin' water. Jesus God. So good, that works when there's water in it. I don't think we got anything at the bottom. The soil is pretty dry, so I can probably handle a lot more than what I'm actually giving it here. I don't know how much I want to use because we're probably going to end up just as long as the top layer here. It's okay. Yeah. I'm probably going to end up putting them into whichever of the germination things I pick for each of them. And then we'll probably be watering again from there anyway, so I'm not too worried about it. They're going to get moved around and bumped around and shit. So it's just going to go a little bit of a 1/4 of an inch down. I'm going to try to grab just one little seed here. And then in you go. Nope, that's one lonely little seed. Boom, cover them up. Good, done. D-U-N. And repeat 9 more times. For this portion, I only showed you guys planting one additional seed here. I didn't think there was any reason for me to show 5 minutes of sped up footage of me jamming seeds in pots, so that's all. Okay, last one. I've actually already got all 10 planted, and I have, I think what looks like there's one seed left over, so I guess they accidentally sent me 11, which is fine, because there's probably like 8,000 seeds in every one of these fucking peppers. So, it's either an 11th seed, or it's like a husk of a seed, but it's in there, so I'm gonna plant it anyway. If it doesn't grow, then no freaking shocker. Alright. So that is all 10 of our reapers planted and their little things. Now I'm gonna go around the house, wrap a couple, stick a couple out on the balcony, overwater them again. Since they're still seeds, they can handle being overwatered right now. It's not going to hurt them. They just soaked in water for 24 hours. and then those guys will be good to go. I might show portions of that, or I might just go straight to planting up my other plants. We'll see. It'll be an adventure. So it's pretty windy outside. I went to set these guys out there, and I realized that if I put them on the little mini greenhouse thing, they're just gonna get blown off and dump all my dirt and seeds down to the first floor here. So there's holes in the bottom of these things, but I wasn't smart enough to run a zip tie through them before I filled them with dirt, and it's going to be way too hard now. I'd have to unplant the whole freaking seed. So, I'm going to improvise here. We're just going to cut a little slit here, run a zip tie down through here, up through this hole, out through another thing on the bottom, and zip it up on the bottom. I've already got one done here. So we're going to go outside, put them on the little cage. This is going to zip down nice and tight. It's going to hold it there. And when they get big enough, if they get big enough to replant, I'll just go out, snip this thing, and throw it away. Just to show you what I'm doing here. So I'll get the hole right there in the middle. I'm just going to cut a little slit. Never cut towards yourself. Just a big enough crack just to jam the zip tie down through there. Spin it around, and we're going to do it on the other side, except not up in the air because I'm going to hurt myself. Boom, there we go. That's better. Big old thing of zip ties here. Right. Tie goes in, down and out, pulls through. Boom, right out the other side. So I'm going to go set these out there and zip them down, and we'll see how sturdy they feel, or if they're still just going to get blown over sideways. Alright, got these guys outside. They got their ghetto zip tie on them. Sturdy as hell. These ain't going anywhere. Ain't going nowhere. Alright, now that we've gotten all the Reaper stuff out of the way, now we can get down to picking our good plants out of our little pea pots here. So I've got loads of decent looking plants in here. So basically what we're gonna do, oh yeah, they're growing all over in there. They've gotten too big for these little peat pods they were in. You plant 2 seeds per, something else, looks like a chive. So basically what you do after they've gotten up to here and they've taken on some green color is you've got 2 plants and you gotta Highlander them. So we're gonna be picking the healthier of the 2, which out of these 2 is very obviously this one. It's bigger, it's got almost its 3rd little set of leaves there. This one's only got 2. So I've got 6 little cells, each with at least 2 seeds in them. So we're going to end up with at least 6 of each. If both of them look healthy, I will keep 2 just for the sake of doing it. I'll probably end up giving a lot of these plants away to family and friends. Because if they're big and tall and strong and can hold themselves up on their own, then you know, we can keep them. But I'm just going to kind of gently peel away the edges of this little pod here. Try not to F up too many of these roots. And then basically what I'm going to do is very gently crumble this away. Try not to mess up the roots too bad. There was pretty much nothing down on the bottom of that, so this little guy doesn't really matter. Oh shit. crumble this. Kind of just massage him a little bit. Get a feel for his roots there. So you got this little clump. This little clump root system there. This guy, it looks fine. So we're going to take him with the tomatoes. They will grow roots along the entire stem as much as buried, so I'm going to try to bury it as close up to these two bottom leaves as I possibly can. The pots aren't really deep enough, and I want to keep the roots so they're not jammed against the plastic on the bottom. So we're probably going to go about a ½ inch below that. But I don't think they're going to be staying in these pots very long. I'm probably going to have to go out in a couple weeks here and pick up some more medium-sized pots. So I've just got a little marker here. I'm just going to jam that down to the bottom. Take a little clod of dirt and drop it down in there so that the roots aren't resting all the way on the bottom. Insert him down in there. Close that up. Boom. Yeah. And that's sticking up higher than I want it to be. It's about a full inch below that bottom leaf, but it's at least going to give him room to grow as opposed to what these other ones are sitting in still. I can peel another one out here. Which is this. There's two little plants growing in that one. Again, you can already tell which one we're going to be keeping out of these two. So this is going to give this guy a lot more room to spread some roots out here. So I'm going to do that to all the rest of the tomatoes, and we will come back to you. And here is all the regular tomatoes transplanted from the seed pods into their little containers now. One of the pods I ended up keeping both, so instead of ending up with 6 plants, I ended up with 8. I think I ended up keeping another random one too that I liked. The rest of them were either bent funny or hadn't really taken in any color, or they had something wrong with the leaves, so you really got a Highlander at each pod. There can only be one. So now we just have to do this with the cherry tomatoes, the jalapenos, the habaneros, and the cauliflower. And one quick little thing down here, that is the Reaper seeds underneath the pink little grow light there. I got 2 of them that are covered, and 2 of them that are uncovered, and 3 that are not covered to act as little things, so I'll be putting out probably weekly updates to see how those guys are going. Alright, and here's what we ended up with in the end. We got all of these here in the round containers of the cherry tomatoes. Out of the 6 cells, I ended up deciding to keep 8 of the plants. The other ones were kind of bent, or they were runty. And then I transplanted 1 of the biggest jalapenos I've got there. The rest of them are still over there in their little cells. They were about half as big as this guy, so I figured I would leave them there. Also, I didn't have enough little plastic pots to transplant out as many as I would have wanted. The cauliflower I didn't bother with because I don't know how to plant that yet, so that's going to be something I'm looking up in the future. This is probably going to be the longest winded video. All the ones out from here are going to be updates. Not a lot is going to be happening until some of these start actually growing and flowering, so until then.